Oh, hello. Yes. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Oh, man, I'm too excited to do stuff. I've got too many things happening. This is too good. This is so cool. Right. So the reason I'm on full screen at the moment is purely because I forgot to actually load up the project, and you just get to look at me while it's loading. It doesn't matter, you can actually see what's going on, but it was just to try and hide the fact that it's like, oh, I actually forgot to load the project up and I've already started streaming. Why didn't you do that while you were just like when you were waiting for it to start and stuff? Nope. Nope. I've intentionally done it so that you just get to see more of me. Right. Anyway, let's see how far we are. So I've got I've got a good series of exciting plans. I haven't actually changed the title yet. Let me do that now. Do 9. We're going to go. It's going to be an exciting title. It's going to be cleaning up the user interface. Sounds exciting, right? And let's update that now. Sweet. Okay. So right, what have we got going on today? I've written a little bit of a list. So there's one thing that was giving me a bit of a hard time. Oh yes, right. Project's up. Okay, right. You don't need to look at this ugly bug anymore, or less of it because I'm going to be in the corner. Right. So where are we up to? Right. I'll quickly explain. There's a tiny bit of code that I fit in, which and I'll explain what it's actually solving. And it's one of those problems that took me a little staring, and it was all cleaned up with one particular. So I'm going to edit this script. We need to wait for this to load as well. Why didn't you have this ready? So the problem that we had was when you have your defender beans and your armoured defender beans. In the case where you have enough armoured defender beans to cover the whole attack, I actually got a little bit of the maths wrong, and what it would do is essentially add additional defence when it shouldn't be. And I've done literally one line of code to fix it, but I wanted to explain it before I carried on, because I just, I want to show where it is. God, this is taking forever. Right. So. No, still loading. Yeah, so there's a particular point where I didn't actually compensate. Yeah, basically I didn't compensate for having more armor than you need, because it would then essentially, it's basically the problem as to when defenders came in and they wouldn't come perfectly online in line with each other, where they would just skip a gap. And I stared at that for a while and I couldn't work out why. But essentially, the point at where the next defender... Oh, thank goodness. Right, okay, we're back in. Right, combat script. Let's have a look. It was around here. It was actually in the defense building script. Let's find out. This is the one. This key little bit here. So what we're doing is, right at the beginning, this is called Loss to NA Defender. This is basically recording the number of non-armoured defenders that we're going to lose. And so at the moment, right at the beginning, it's just equals the damage to take. So if the armour total is 0, or if the armour total is 0, we would just ignore all this, right? And then oh, hold on. Wow, straight off the bat, I'm looking at something that doesn't quite make sense. Oh yes, that's it. Okay, so sorry, I was looking. It's less than. So, if for whatever reason this number goes less than 0, right, which is what would happen. So if it goes less than 0, then it just equals 0. I've put a little debug bug, just to remind people to explain this. And the reason it can go less than 0 is over here we've got damage to take. We're working out the number of the normal regular defender beans to destroy after they've taken off the armor, and I've done it here where it's like damage to take minus the armor total. But if you have more armor, then that number becomes a minus number, and then suddenly you're kind of adding phantom defense for no reason. And yeah, it's a bit confusing, but like this one line has fixed it. So now we won't get the situation. I'll just quickly explain. I'll explain the problem as well. Sorry, I can't recreate the problem because I fixed it. But when you create units, there's a very fixed point. This here is the start point, and then they sort of build up rows. Whereas I had an error before, a sort of a little bug where when I had armoured defenders and various different things occurred, like they would go slightly misaligned, and I believe I fixed that now. But we'll see if that problem comes up again. Then I clearly haven't fixed it. Right. So anyway, I need to get that off my chest. And right. So what are we going to do today? It's saying clean up the user interface. So I have as I say, I know it seems a bit sort of like of a cop out. I like Slay the Spire and how everything sort of works, like, you know, the actual user interface. And I was thinking, let me have a little look, see. So I actually took a little screenshot. This is just a random screenshot, which I put somewhere sensible over here. Yeah, so and it's actually quite useful having this here. So this kind of just roughly, like, it means that you've actually got quite a lot of space to actually see everything that's going on. And I've noticed they do this with Hearthstone as well, in that the cards, when you're not actually selecting them, they're just like at the bottom of the screen. So you sort of cut off the bottom half, which I quite like that. And I'm going to come up with a system today where when you're not actually selecting the cards, they are sort of half covered. So basically, we've got more space to see the rest of the screen. And another thing which I quite like about what Slay the Spire does as well is they've got this tiny little box here, which is the draw pile, and this tiny little box here, which my camera is covering. Let me move top right. And this tiny little box here, which is the discard pile. And it probably makes sense to do something similar to that, purely because we've got this big draw pile in our game that it takes up far too much space. So I think we can still, my plan is, for the time being, I'm going to shrink this down to like quarter the size, and I'm going to have that, and then I'll have the discard pile as kind of the same as this, but maybe greyed out. And here's a big decision. It's a big sort of decision which I haven't worked out if I'm going to do yet, but and we're going to do other things before we do this. But another thing that I would like to do is where over here there's actually just a little box where it just essentially stores all of the discarded cards. I do like the idea of what I've done currently, where like the cards kind of get slapped onto this pile and it sort of builds up and it looks like a real discard pile that, you know, you're placing down. I like it. However, I think it's a bit processor intensive and it isn't super necessary. So I think I might sort of follow Slay the Spire's lead here and have just simply like a number on just a number, like, and just a generic version of this card but slightly greyed out with a number of discard piles. So I think, yeah, like I say, kind of like I'm going to keep all the code that does it, so it's not going to go anywhere, and I can always change back. But I think for the time being, I'm looking to make the whole user interface just a bit simpler. So what are we going to do first off? Right, I think we start with something nice and easy, quick, easy wins. We're going to make this smaller. We're going to make the discard, the draw pile smaller, like I think quarter the size, and we're going to have a number to indicate how many cards are left in, which shouldn't really be too difficult. So let's get started. And I kind of want it to be slightly more in the corner. So let's go. Right, resources. Let's have a look. We've got the deck. Go. Why is this in 3D? This needs to be in 2D. That's good. Okay. So here, I think for the time being, it can be something as simple as... Yes, I'm making it quarter the size. Now, I'm just intrigued as to what's going to happen if we just leave that. So I have literally just made the scale, made it smaller. And I quite like the idea when you're drawing a card for it to actually start at that size and then just grow so it's big enough to be in your hand. So first of all, right, that's brilliant. Let's see if it actually does remain smaller or if I've actually got code, internal code. Okay. Right. Fantastic. Okay, we want that slightly lower down. So here's where we're actually going to get to some coding bits. Yeah. Right. Edit script. Right, let's have a look. So. And actually, where exactly do we want it? Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. I just clicked. What have I done? Oh no, I've just highlighted the thing. Everything's fine. Okay. Where exactly do we want it on the screen? Because at the moment it's probably a bit high up. Let's just go move it around. I want it to be in a nice sort of... let's just get an actual location. So we've got this selected. At the moment it's minus 7.5, minus 2.5. But I think this can go... minus 3.5. That's probably a bit too far. Let's have a look. I think that's okay. We can actually probably lower it down a little bit further. So if that was, say, 4, that's a bit too low. 3.75. So it's going to be minus 8, minus 3.75. I quite like that. However, future thinking... I'm going to change it to 7.5. The reason being is at the moment this is widescreen-esque, and if ever you're playing on a screen that is not quite as widescreen, it might get cut off the end, and this just gives us enough leeway. So minus 7.5, minus 3.5. Right, what's the code that actually puts it in place? So summon routine. Let's have a look. Minus 7.5. 7.5. Okay, let's do that first. Just check that's all in place. Check that works. We've got... I know I probably don't need to actually be checking each time. Yeah, I think that looks nice though. That's fine. So it feels like when they're drawing, when the cards are being drawn, it's like it's coming from here, and I kind of want it to come directly from here. So what we're going to do, so we've got 2 things we're looking to do next. Number 1, try and make it so the cards actually draw right from the actual deck itself. And number 2, we're going to have a little number to indicate how many cards we've got left in the deck. So let's first of all get them drawing. Let's make sure they're give cards to hand. Here we go. Oh, huh. So it is actually, it's creating at the deck transposition. And so allegedly it is actually summoning the cards from the point. I think it might just be happening a bit too quick. Actually, I think a good way of determining this is I'm going to actually pause and go through frame by frame. So yeah, sorry, this is a useful thing you can do in Unity. If you pause and you click here over and over, it skips one frame forward each time. So you can actually see it frame by frame. And I'm going to look at the point where it creates a card. It's got to do all of the... Yep, that's fine. So yeah, sorry, I know this is a little bit slow and clunky. Okay. Huh. Alright, okay. Let's just work out where the next one... Oh! I think I see what the problem is. So what it's doing is it's creating it at the wrong point, but it's because... So... yes. Okay, here's where the problem lies. When it's creating the card, it's already working under the assumption it's the parent of the hand, which is... let me just double check. Yeah, so I've got a game object which is basically a separate game object that's holding all the cards, and I believe in the text, in the code, let me have a quick look. Instantiate there. And I just want to check actually as well. So we've got the deck, minus 7.5. Because yeah, this is very weird. I'm just gonna. Okay, so this one here. So for whatever reason, it's creating where the Y is at the wrong place, because this Y should be minus, and. I think it could be to do with this setup, or adding the card. Let's go. It's. I think because it's actually. I think it's initially created at the correct place, but when we add cards, I'm guessing it's to do with this code here. So let's have a look. Let's find out what we've done. Right, what actually goes on here? Let's see. Let's keep this in. Because, yeah, here's where I'm getting a little baffled. Oh, yes, sorry. One thing which I'll quickly explain as well. Last week, I was working on getting like the ability for you to stack multiple cards at once. I'll move me back down to the bottom right over here. I was working on the concept of getting multiple like tasks stacked one after another, so you could play multiple cards, but it won't interfere with each other. It will just do one, then the next, one after the other, in a sort of nice, sort of orderly queue-like fashion. And I got a little stuck. And then basically this morning I woke up and I was thinking, oh, I've worked out a completely different, a revolutionary new idea to actually fix the whole problem. So I will do that a bit later. It's just what I want to do. I want to just clean up the whole hand, like, you know, the hand and the deck and everything, just so it looks a bit nicer, so that when we implement that, it will just look a bit better. Because I kind of more or less got it to work last time, but I want to kind of get it. I want to I've got a better idea where there's a lot less confusion, and I don't know why I didn't think of the idea earlier, but I'll get onto that a bit later. Right, so we have got to work out why it's being created here and not where we want it to. Right, so So it's just a little bit of trial and error here. So first of all, we're going to do a bit of debugging. So debug.log card script dot get trans dot position. Okay, that's what we're going to do first, right? So we want to check that it is actually that the deck trans position, and in fact, let's properly double down on all of this. Okay, so what are we doing here? As we create the card, I want to check what both the deck transposition, because ideally it should be creating it at the exact position of the deck, and I want to then create the card and check that both of those are the same, and they're both like, what is it, minus 7.5, minus 3.7.5. So let's have a look. Let's just clear all of that. Ooh. Huh. That is very weird. So, as we instantiate this, and we've set its position, so actually this still isn't probably too bad, because for whatever reason, we set it to one particular position, and it's defaulted to another position. And yeah, so it's like, I'm not 100% sure why that is the case, but I can do a cheeky little bit of code. So, and sorry, I just want to confirm that. So the deck position is the minus 3.8 that we know and love, and this is there. So why don't we, instead of actually, instead of trying to break down what's wrong with the code, try and work out, why don't we just manually set it? It might even save a bit of code. So let's just quickly stop this. So okay. Yeah, like I say, this does feel a bit of a sort of caveman way of, this isn't working, let's just fix it. So let's just hit it a few times until it works. But let's just see. Let's see what happens. Okay, much better. Much better. Okay, right. Still kind of annoyed that I had to call on those drastic measures to get it to work. But it's as if part of this card is like a... Actually, it might even be... Huh. I mean, I doubt it, but it might be like somewhere in the awake, it just sets itself to a different... No. Move card back. Oh, it could be that. Oh... Okay, yeah, we know where the problem lies. So I think my code is still fine, but what's happening is this particular function here is, as soon as it becomes awake, it's following all of this, which is mostly good stuff. It's essentially setting... it's the same code as to when you drag your mouse off of a thing and it clicks back in line. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, right, now next we're going to have another... We're getting through them. We're going to go for... yeah, this is something which I'm actually kind of fine with this. I think this is okay. local position. Yeah. Yeah, so let me, because it's basically, it's all of this stuff that doesn't need to happen. So we actually only really need to use this bit, but that's fine. I think I prefer this. So if I can copy this and just paste this here, that would hopefully alleviate the need for me to use any of this. So let me just get rid of all this first. Yeah, so basically I've got another bit of code telling it to move somewhere else. So it was me. It wasn't Unity. It was my fault. I'm the one to blame here. Right. So yeah, that's fine. So it's still creating it at the point. Absolutely fantastic. Right. So what we're going to have next is we're going to have a little number somewhere on here, and it's going to let us know how many cards we've got in the deck. Right. Let's go for it. Right. So, oh, right, cool. There's no 3D objects, 3D text. I know it annoys me as well that you have to do 3D object because there's no like 2D text here, so it has to be a 3D world, and then we just need to change the rendering a bit later, which is what we'll do. Right, so this is going to be, I'm just going to have, say, 10. That seems fine. Let's go change it to Gilbert. Yep. Middle center, alignment center. Cards remaining text. There we go. That looks good. I just want to make sure. Yeah, minus 0.6 sounds good. If it was minus 0. Yeah, actually I'll have minus 0.5. It's just, it feels a bit more sort of round. Okay. Edit script. So, right, let's go make sure we got access to our... we need access to the text and to be able to change it and to be able to change the sorting order as well. So, oh, that's interesting. We don't even have access to the renderer, the sprite renderer. So, public transform. Okay, we're going to have it all here. So first of all, I don't even know if we're doing anything, but I still want to make sure we've got access to the sprite renderer of the game object. And we're going to have a text mesh. This is going to make sure, this is going to be the thing that enables us to access the text so we can change the number of cards in the deck. Remaining cards text and remaining cards TM and mesh renderer is remaining cards mesh renderer. Yeah, like I said, I don't use abbreviations for everything, but there's some things where it just fits and it works. So I'll always call mesh renderers MRs, text meshes TMs, and sprite renderers SR. But yeah, like I say, it's kind of a bad habit to have everything as an abbreviation. For some reason, it just makes sense. Right, anyway. Deck trans, deck SR. And like I say, I'm getting access to this purely because it feels like I should. Sprite renderer and we've got I think it's just get component in children. I know, it sometimes feels like I'm just attacking the keyboard. Right, sweet. Right, so now basically this code here is just meaning that we've got access to the mesh renderer and the the text mesh and the ability to pick the sorting order. So I'm going to have a quick look at something. Right. So at the moment I haven't got an awful lot to go by, but I think the deck should be a sorting order of, say, 1. So we can actually... I'll change this to 1, but I'll do it in code as well. And the text ahead, the text that goes in front of it, should be a sorting order of 2. And this is the problem. You can't actually do it on here. It's not that. I don't think it's that. No, that's fine. Sorry. I wanted to just check it. So I'm going to do it all in code, which is absolutely no problem at all. So deck sr dot sorting order equals 1 and remaining cards mesh renderer dot sorting order equals 2. Right, fantastic. Now we're going to have a really basic function here. So I'm going to press Control MO to close everything. We're going to have a public void. Or should I make it private? We'll keep it public for the time being. Set remaining cards text. I cannot spell remain to save my life. Remaining cards tm dot text equals cards in deck dot count. Toostring. Okay. Right, sweet. Okay. Right. So now we just need to make sure whenever we're changing this, right, every time this is affected, we're going to call this function. So let's go find all references. Nope, I was looking at the wrong thing. I knew that didn't make any sense. Find all references. Oh wow, this might be easier than I thought. What am I doing? I'm losing the plot here. This one, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so there's quite a lot going on here. Right, so every time we're removing a card, we're going to set remaining cards text. We're going to just call that function, and I'm actually going to copy it. So every time we're removing, so if I go Right, okay. So, yep, and here. Right, so all these are the times that we're adding. Oh, it's actually doing it all in one go. There's no routine or anything, so I'm just going to have it. Just going to have it at the bottom here. Okay, that's fine. Yep. Okay. So I'm just kind of working my way through. I think that is no longer needed. That's fine. So I've got to work out exactly how the cards are getting added. So I think that might actually be somewhere in the discard pile. So we're going to have a look at the discard pile and work out, because at the moment I think this will somewhat work okay. Let's just have a look at what we've got so far. Because yeah, as I say, I think this will kind of work. The only problem is when well, first of all, let's see if it does actually do the thing that we've intended. So ideally there'll be, I can't even remember how many cards are in the deck, 27, but as you're adding them, yeah, it's taking them off. That's good. All right, and I'm just checking, we end turn, we're discarding everything, and then they're still going. So at the moment that's fine. The only problem is when we've actually run out of all the cards and the cards get shuffled in, there's nothing telling it to to actually record the number at that point. And I would rather kind of like maybe when you're shuffling the cards in, it go in or something like that. I haven't worked out, but anyway, what we need to do is have a look at the discard pile and find out how it's being shuffled back in. So let's do this. Okay, move all cards back to deck. That looks about alright. Let's just find out the exact point, find all references. So what's happening over here, and then we can try and fix this. So when we're giving a card, so the time that we actually shuffle all the cards back is when there's no cards left in the deck, and so we move. And so what it will do, it will check for the number of cards in the deck. If it's greater than 0, then it will draw a card like normal. Otherwise, we get in the discard pile to move all the cards back into the deck. And then essentially, it's doing this script. It's, yeah, basically all of this code here is pretty much the same as what's going on here. I think there's lots of green stuff here. Let's go we can get rid of all this green stuff. Let's go and get rid of it. Just tidy this up a little bit. Okay, so, right. Just want to have a quick stare. That makes sense. Okay, brilliant. So, it's when we're moving all the cards back, what's actually happening here? Oh, I see. So it is definitely this function here. Just to confirm, this is definitely the function that happens when we're looking to put all the cards back. So what's going on? Right, we're starting a coroutine, which is this one here. We're moving everything over. So we're moving all the cards in a sort of random, like, fun fashion. and we're shrinking them down as well, so they're sort of like moving over and shrinking down. Again, this is something, because I'm looking to get rid of the discard pile, I'll probably have a look at this into this later. So while the discard pile count is greater than 0, card script, cards in discard pile, we're removing and destroying. And at what point at what point am I actually putting the cards back in the deck? I don't know. I mean, it's worked all the times before. I just have no idea why. Right. Let me. This is genuinely puzzling. How am I adding all the cards? See, it's only been a couple of weeks since I was working on this, and I have no idea. It's like, so, oh, hold on. Cards in discard pile, remove, that's fine. And then we're destroying it, which is fine. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with all that. So oh, wait a sec. I think I found it, boys. Right, this one. Add cards to deck. So this was a bit of a red herring. We just need to put the code here. Okay. Alright, so what we want to do... So, yeah, I've got this function here which adds all the cards from the discard pile. Yes. That's it. Okay, cool. I was going in the wrong direction, but we're okay now. So, I think this this little trash can thing looks very out of place. So, yeah, I'm looking to sort of change it to something else. So I'm telling you all the things that I'm looking to do, but I'm not actually doing it. So, right, well, this is the experiment. So, we're on 27. I probably should have reduced the deck size a little bit, but 27, we're just going to drain this down, and we want to check that when it's actually discarding them, it's okay. There's no game over, so even if he kills us, it doesn't matter. So, right, we want to just keep close track of this. So, what's happening? Yeah, that's exactly what I was after. Right, absolutely brilliant. Cool. Alright, sorted. Right, so now, what I think, I want to change this picture simply to this picture, but have it sort of greyed and darkened, I guess. And I kind of, like, I know it feels like I'm just copying Slay the Spire more, but I kind of want these mana crystals, mana coins, to be kind of there-ish instead. So that way, like, obviously at the moment we've got 5 cards, but there's going to be ways of getting up to, like, say, maybe 10 cards. And we're going to struggle to fit it on the screen otherwise. So, 2 things at once. This one will take barely any time at all. We just need to just work out its spawning point. So we can actually do that now. Okay. So just trying to work out where would make like good sense to have the mana coins. What if we had it vertical? Because I'm trying to think, we might be sort of getting in the way. We can actually have it sort of going downwards instead of long ways. I don't think that would take very long. Yeah, let's go with that. Again, might be... oh, damn, I should have edited that while it was there. Okay. So, yeah, like I say, I'll see how I feel about it. And we just need to... Yeah. So what are we doing to actually summon the mana coins to begin with? I think this will be easier than it looks. I think we just need to... Okay. So, where did we decide? It's something like -8. 1? Let's give that a try. Yeah, I can't see anything going wrong. I'm sure it'll be fine. So what we've done is basically we've hopefully... we're going to have them around there. Yeah. Do I like that? I quite like that. They went up instead of down, but that's okay. And let's just check that they're still reacting the same way. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. Right, sweet. That's fine. Okay. Right. Mission accomplished. Okay, now we've got... Like, that's the thing. I've been doing sort of some of the easy bits. We're going to do the tougher bits next. So, number one, we're going to... we want to have this discard pile kind of in line. So, I mean, actually, what I'll do is... Mainly just so I can visualise it. I'm just simply... This is just like for... If I have... and that to be a bit sort of grayer. Something like that. And instead of the cards going on top, they're just going to kind of like just move over and then destroy themselves, because it's going to be too expensive to try and process. If you've got a deck of 50 cards and 40 of them are in the deck, it's like the whole everything's trying to process. And given that this would be nice to play on like an iPad or something, it's going to struggle to process all that. So I'm making an executive decision. It's a bit of a sad one, but as much as I love this discard pile, and I'll definitely keep this code in hand, I will get rid of the plan of stacking cards on top of each other. I think that's just going to be too expensive. So, right. So we're going to summon... So now, anyway, right. All that said, let's go. Right, discard pile. Okay, let's change this to... no. Card... And we kind of want a grey-ish, so that's... Oh, no. Yeah, I think that looks okay. And we're going to do the same, like where we've got a number, so you know what the number of cards in the discard pile and the... Yeah, so this will take a little while, but... yeah, so this way we've got an indication. We know how many cards are in the deck and in the discard pile. So, 3D object, text, let's change all this over to our wonderful I always just change it as central as possible. So y is minus 0.5, that's fine. Okay. So before anything, we're just going to get the number. We're going to set the number. So here we go. So we're going to get access to the text so that we can then change it, and then we're going to worry about the animation of putting the cards in. Right. We'll have cards discarded TM. Yeah, and then private mesh renderer cards discarded mesh renderer. Yeah, so the reason I'm doing this, I'm doing all of this today, is just purely because, given that there's still a lot more that I'm looking to do, I think by having just a slightly cleaner interface, it will make everything easier from this step onwards. So this is very much like this episode is more about like getting a lot of things set up so that when we're making more things in the future, it will just be a lot easier. Okay, right, awake. Let's go get access to all these things. Right. Cards. Discarded text mesh equals get component in children. Text mesh. Cards. Discarded renderer equals get component. Okay. One thing that's important to note is when we do the expression get component in children, I always thought what that did would... let me just let this load up. I always thought that if like, so I've got these things saying get component in children, right? I always assumed it would look at all of the, whatever is any child of this particular object. So it'd look through all of here to see if there's like a text mesh or a mesh rend, right? It doesn't do that. It actually searches everywhere. So if I incidentally had a text mesh and a mesh render attached to this part here, it would prioritize that over this one. So when it says get component in children, it just means to get component from anywhere that's attached to it. I think there's get component in parent as well, which means that if I was trying to look for a sprite renderer and I had some code here, it would then look up to here and find the sprite renderer. I just thought, little interesting little bit of information. Because it is, I think I'd call it slightly misleading. Cards discarded. Let's just change that name as well. It's slightly misleading because it says find component in children, but it means find component anywhere from that level or below. Because it also, if you had another game object, it would search. If you had a child of say this one, it would search there as well. But that's cards anyway. Discarded text. Okay. Right, bam, bam, bam. Okay, what are we doing? So, get rid of all that. So we're going to have that same function. You know what? I mean, come on. You don't need to copy and paste. It's one of the most simple functions ever. Oh no, actually, you know what? No. I'm not going to do it. I can just make my own one. But like, I will. It will be more effort. Right? Just. Public void set number of cards in discard pile. That looks eerily like this. I'm going to put text. Yeah, that's fine. So cards discarded TM set. Yeah, set cards discarded text. Yeah, the reason I'm doing that is because I've got another function here which does something which I can't remember. It's probably useful. But like it read very similarly, and the fact they're both next to each other and they've both got very similar functions implies they've got a similar purpose, but it's like, no, they've got radically different purposes. So I thought I'm just going to change the name just so that I don't get confused later. So I just need to find out cards in discard pile dot count. Right. Dot toString. So we're making sure it's a string. That's fine. Okay, now let's go find all these references. Ah, what have I done? Click the wrong thing. Here we go. I do that a lot, where you just click one thing down and you're like, I don't know what I've just done. I viewed the call hierarchy. No idea what that even does. Find all references. Okay, we're just going to go through all the bits where we're adding a card. We're going to set cards discarded text. There we go. And I'm going to copy this and then work out all the other times that we're doing that. So what's happening over here? So this is just part of the function of moving stuff. So when we're removing, yep, that's fine. I think that might be all of it. Yeah, okay. We also want to make sure that we summon it in the bottom right. So that will be somewhere. You know what? The easiest way of doing this is when it gets summoned. Oh, now I'm here. Just reminded me. We need to set the sorting order of our discard pile and the text. So discard pile sr dot sorting order equals 1 and cards discarded mr. So another thing which is important to notice, and again, a lot of these times when I'm explaining things, it's because I've kind of normally found this information out the hard way. When it comes to sorting order, it is incredibly important that you keep track of this, because there's been times when I've made a game before, and when you're testing it out in the Unity game engine, it's seemingly working really well. You're like, yeah, that thing is in front of there, that's fine, everything's good, right? But when you try it on, say, the Mac, or try it out on an iPad, or try it on an iPhone or whatever, it turns out, unless you've got the sorting order sorted, anything that's got the same sorting order, it can come out differently. And so I know that I spent ages kind of finally getting a version that goes on my iPhone and be like, why can't I see anything? But it's because I haven't dealt with the sorting order, and things that we just assumed one was in front of the other, they were actually at the same sorting order, and it just prioritized a different one. So yeah, I really would recommend getting this sorted. I've used the word sorted a lot. Right, anyway. Oh yeah, no, I remember what I was doing. So, summon. Find all references. Okay, So we're creating the deck. We're setting up the hands deck script. So I think I'm trying to work out. I can't actually remember the. Anyway, I think it's basically just a matter of going, working out where the discard pile is. Summon. Oh, of course. Move to point bouncy. Oh, home deck. Oh, so I think we can just set it here. So it's 7.5 and minus... Did we decide 3.8? Yeah, it's just this. This is just what I need to change. But we just got to work out exactly where we're creating it. So, let's have a look. Oh, I just assumed I'd get one of the numbers wrong. Okay, that's good. So the discard pile's there. We were going to make it a bit greyer. And the deck is 3.75. That's fine. I'm going to change it to 3.75. And we kind of want to change the colour. Just to make it a bit greyer, I guess. And I think at some point I might make a picture of like a trash can or something. It's still in the it would be a card shape with a trash can on it, so you know that's where the discard pile is. That's just like food for thought. So what have we got? 773. Okay, so let's actually have a look at this on full screen, see if that feels like a discard pile. That feels okay, doesn't it? Oh yeah, and of course it's set to 10. That's because it hasn't. But I think as soon as we end turn now, it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Oh, cool. It's actually put them in that pile. Oh, that is interesting actually, because it's becoming a parent, because it's becoming a child of that. It's shrinking it down. But that's good. Right. So. Oh, I quite like that. That looks good. But no, we've made the decision. I think as it moves, it should destroy, but as long as it saves stuff, it's fine. Okay, sorry, just talking to myself out loud. Right, so let's go get this. Let's go make the colour. And we made it something like 73. So I'll explain. Sorry, 73. What relevance has that got? 73. We can actually set it all here. So, right, come on, 73. Keep up. What relevance is that? So the discard pile color. So discard pile dot color equals new color, and I think we decided right. So unfortunately, when we're actually putting the setting up a color, it's always got to be a number between 0 and 1, and yet. When I'm saying 73, that's essentially, it's 73 out of 255. Why 255? I can explain that, but it will take too long. Either way, we need to get we need to set the red, green, and blue of the colour to what is essentially 73 out of 255. So 73.0f over 255.0f, and we got to do that 3 times. Okay, so what have I done there? This is essentially setting the colour of the discard pile because we want to make it sort of greyed out. And and like when I was actually having a little play around earlier, I realised that 73 out of 255 was about the right sort of greyness that I wanted. So let's just check all that works. Okay. No. No, it hasn't, because I have probably changed the colour at some other point. Yes, and I know exactly why. I know how. Yes, that's fine, because when we're actually summoning... so, yeah, because when we're actually summoning, we're fading it into white. So what we're going to do instead is... there's different ways we could do this, but we're going to have a private color summon color. So this is a variable that is a color, right? Which is and what we're going to do, we're going to have our summon color equal to this color that we've made, and then instead of it turning to white, we're going to change it to summon color. Okay, so let's just check that works. So it should fade into this greyish color. Yeah, that's better. Right, and so we play a card. Bam. So, I think... I know that what Slay the Spire does. Stop referring to Slay the Spire. No, I think, like, Slay the Spire is like a sort of masterpiece as far as games, and I want to... I want to learn, like, from, you know, how can they make it look so good. So, when we're actually playing a card, at the moment, it sort of flips around and then it sort of shrinks down and moves there. What if... Now, do I delve... Because what I kind of want to happen is... Actually, okay, changing my plan slightly. We're going to put some cool particle effects. So, like, it's sort of... so when you actually discard it, you know... Because Slay the Spire does a sort of like cool like particle effect where it sort of moves around and then sort of bashes in, and it looks really nice. Which is what I will do. But for the time being, before we do that, I want to make it just simply as soon as it arrives there, it just destroys itself. Which is, yeah, the actual card itself just destroys itself, and we'll worry about particle effects later. I think it might even be an entire episode, which is going to be learning how to, which is going to be basically using particle effects, having fun with it, fitting them in good places, which I'm looking forward to doing. But for the time being, we don't need to do that. What we're going to do just simply is when you play a card, it's going to move over like normal, but just destroy itself, which sounds easy. The only problem is when it actually comes to shuffling the cards back in, it's got nothing to actually move over, which I haven't worked out how we're going to sort this out yet, but I would rather get these destroyed and then work out a sort of makeshift a way of sorting that problem out in a sec. Okay, so let's have... We're going to edit the card script, and then we're going to see, close this over here, close all but this, and now we're going to work on moving this into the, let's have a look. Okay, so set up according to class. Right. Okay, remove this card. Discard pile script. So it's here. Oh. Yes, okay. I see where the problem lies. Yeah, I like all of this code, so I'm just going to put it in green. But yeah, this is the thing that essentially stacks it on and puts it at a random rotation, which I love. But we're going to have to get rid of it. Right. So. Oh yes, of course, this whole QBool int thing. Sort that out later. That's fine. Yeah, basically, like last episode, I was trying to use this system, which. But I think I found a better system, and I've got a really good fun way of testing to see, but that's a different problem, right? So what's actually happening here? We're playing the card, it's flipping around. We're now setting the transform to the discard pile. We're removing this from the hand, brilliant. While the hand is busy because it's just moving the cards back in place. It's just waiting there. The discard pile, adding this to the discard pile. And pile number. And we're essentially doing this kind of complex stuff. And I was quite happy with all this code. I like this. So what we'll do right at the bottom here is Control C. I'm just going to fit all this in here because I do like it. I don't want to get rid of it forever, and it genuinely could be useful later if we're looking to stack it, stack cards. But we don't need this, so let's go get rid of the bits that are relevant. So move to point local. Yeah. Grow to size. We kind of want it to grow to size 0 as well. We can still add the rotation. I don't know if that'll be any good. Oh, okay. So, here is where it gets interesting, right? So we're adding the card to the discard pile. Let's just check that works. So this is basically what it's going to look like now. We still haven't actually dealt with the problem. It's still taking up as much processing power because we're still. The cards are still there. We've just shrunk them down to being 0. But when we play a card, oh yeah, of course, I need to make sure that sets itself straight after. Yeah, anyway, I'll do that afterwards. Right, so we play a card, so it shrinks all the way down. Okay, that's fine. That's exactly what I'm after. Obviously, particle effects are going to be brilliant when I finally put them in. But yeah, so play that. That's fine. Yeah. I know it's not quite as fun, but I think that makes sense. Right, what we need to do next. So now, this discard pile hasn't really got much use in kind of storing the cards. All it actually needs to do is store the card classes. So so we're going to, instead of actually storing the whole card script, which has got a bunch of stuff in, we're going to save just a lot sort of more basic information. So where we've got adding cards to the discard pile, we're just going to add, right, this will create error messages, but it will be easy to fix, that's fine. What have we called it? Our card class. Card class. There we go. Oh, no. Here. Card class. Right, error messages, loads, but that's okay because... So, yes. And I guess... Yeah, so at the moment, yeah, we actually want to... We're going to eventually just get rid of this whole variable here. But we're going to have a private list of card classes, card classes in discard pile. And it might be easier if we go find all references. There's a problem that we're going to come across soon, but I'll fix that as and when it comes. So I'm just slowly kind of getting rid of things one by one. So this will be the routine of... So where are we? This routine here is where all the cards move back. But what I'm looking to do is we are going to just create a dummy object of, like, you know, just a basic card look that just moves over so yeah, there's not actually cards in discard pile. So actually, for the time being, okay. Yeah, I'm going to put a debug. We're going to just fit in a cool little particle effect at some point. Yeah. Yeah, like I say, this is doing a few technical things here. So this might I will probably get error messages around just purely because I'm essentially looking to get rid of all of this in one go. In fact, actually, there is a good technique. If I just get rid of all, if I do this and then save, right? Stick with me here. We go back in here. We're going to get a bunch of error messages, and we can literally just go one by one and fix them as we go. So we've got 9 to work with. Let's just work our way down. So that is no longer necessary. So we're just going to comment it out. That's fine. Okay. Save. We're down to 8. Brilliant. Okay. So, while card classes in discard pile count is greater than 0, we don't need to do any of that. So this is just essentially destroying all the things. And we don't actually, there's nothing to destroy, it's just a card class. Okay, right, so we've still got plenty of error messages left to get through, but we're knocking it down. Card script. Discard routine. This is going to be our card class. Down to 4. So get classes from... Oh. We can get rid of all this. We simply... Actually, no, hold on. I'll just comment it out. But we just need to return... Okay. Right. Get number of cards in discard pile. This was such a better idea. Yeah, so whenever you're looking to change a big thing, if you just grey it out, then this just points you to where all the problems are. This is great. Card classes in discard pile. I don't even know if we need this. Oh, okay, yes, so that's something that I need to look at. I will get back to that. Okay. Oh. Right. So, where are we? What are we doing? Oh yeah, that's it. So, yeah, we're still actually, when we're discarding the card, not playing the card, when we're just discarding the card, we're still doing all of this code. And I just need to get onto the dragging playing bit. I think it's all that. Actually, let's just tidy this up a little bit. Okay. So I think it's all of this code, all of this here. Let me just put this all back, see if I'm... Just check this looks about right. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. Don't need that. I just want to check I've done... Yeah, I just want to check that we are actually removing it from our hand as well. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going back and forth a little bit. Okay. Okay, right. So yeah, sorry. The reason I've been a little bit careful with all this is when we're discarding. Oh, we're just removing it there. That's fine. Okay. So, what's actually happening? What have we changed? We want to... Oh, yes, of course. So by the time it's actually discarded, we can destroy it. But let's have a look. Right. Ooh. Okay, so we've cleared all the error messages. I still think we're going to probably run into a bit of turbulence when we're playing. But let's have a look. Right. Okay. So we play a card. Okay. And end turn. Okay, that's still all good. We just need to actually destroy the card. Because they're still actually attached. So, card script. Because I want to just check as well that it's passed over all the relevant information it needs to before it destroys itself. So yeah, destroy game object, that basically is saying destroy itself. And what it's done, I need to emphasise as well, that we've passed all the card class. This is the only important bit of information that needs to remain. And we've passed all that information over to the discard pile. So it's only the physical card itself, but all the important data is still remaining. Right, let's have a look. And I want to actually see if when the discard pile is full and we're putting the cards back in, if it doesn't give us too much of a problem. So that seems to be okay. We're just going to do multiple end turns. yeah, like I say, let's see what happens. Okay, moment of truth. Okay. Just want to have a look at that again. Yeah. So it felt like it took a bit longer than it needed to, but... Oh, yeah, of course. That's because it's taking 1/10 of a second for every card. So it's yeah. Once we've actually fit in the cool particle effects, it won't be a problem. Right, that's worked. Fantastic. Right, brilliant. Right, so we're actually cleaning up the UI bit by bit, one at a time. So where are we working on next? Right, so that works. That actually works a lot better than I thought. Oh, yeah. Right, so what are we doing next? Okay, we are going to lower these cards down. I'm just going to use a bit of a reference here. So we've got this look of the screen here. We want the hand over there. Maybe lower this down to something like there. Let's see what actually makes sense. So let's just say it's minus 4.5. That seems okay. So it was minus 3, so I think minus 4.5, and I'm just going to kind of, yeah, that's okay. So it's the way which we're going to fix this is we're going to set their sort of return vec to it being a little bit lower. So it'll be instead it will just be minus 1.5 on the Y scale as to when we're setting the return vec, which should be pretty easy. Let's go have a look at this hand script. Okay. Add card. Add card routine. Right. So. Oh yes. Oh, I'm excited to doing this. There's like, because I want to add the, like, when you have more than one card, the way that the sort of cards fan out instead of it just being flat, like. But first of all, let's just lower the cards down a bit. So we're setting the local position to. Sorry, that was 3. And let's have a look. And now, yeah, the return vec of the card is, at the moment, that's 3. So if we set that to 1.5, so it's 1.5 less. The reason it's F, sorry. So let's have a look, see if that just lowers it down, because if everything goes to plan, it should have the cards lower, but when you select them, it still moves up to the point which it needs to. But let's find out. Because, yeah, this one does require... I see where we've gone there. Oh, but they're returning back to that high spot, which is fine. Okay, so what have we learnt from that activity? One, the card that's being added has got a separate bit of code, so we need to lower that down. And 2, when we're returning back to its sort of saved vector, it's moving back up. So we need to fix both of those 2 things. So let's fix one thing first. That's it. So changing that bit there, that's changing the local return vec of the initial card that's being added. So I'm not even going to bother checking that because I'm sure it's going to work. So what we now need to do is, now that we've got the set return vec, on the card script, what's happening exactly when we are moving the card back? Oh. It feels like I've done a lot more code to do something bad, and I could cut a large chunk of this out. I'm not obviously going to actually delete it yet. I think we just have card trans dot local position equals return back. Why have I got all this rubbish? I'm sure it made sense at the time. I'm sure it did. But we don't need it. Why have I got so much rubbish? Right, let's give this a shot. Right, let's see if this just works. So that's exactly right. Those have moved back in. We select it to have a look at it. And then it moves back down. Nice. Okay. Right. So the next thing that we want to do, is that too big? Is that card too big? I don't know. So when the cards are shuffling along, they're moving back up, which is easy to fix. Let's have a look. So let's go into the hand script. Remove card. I think we just need to set all of these. I think that's literally going to fix it. That's fine. And at the moment, it's happening a little bit too slowly. So add card routine. Yeah, we can actually change it to 0.25, and I'm going to do, again, it's a good habit to create a variable here, speed equals 0.25, and then we can actually just fit it in over here, I think. So this is the moving back, so, and we don't want it to bounce. I don't think we want it to bounce. I think that just looks a bit rubbish, so we can get rid of the bounce. So we're just going to move to point. Yeah, because at the moment it sort of boinks back, which I thought was going to look good, but I think it looks a bit rubbish. Now I'm looking at it now. So move to point local. And I think we just need to get rid of that. So, yeah, it should just move efficiently. That should look good. Okay. Right. So, how are we looking at the moment? So we have this card, play it, adding the defenders. Yeah, it just moves over. That's nice. And then we end turn. And we're still always returning back. Okay, right. So, right, number one, I want the actual, when you've actually got it selected here, I kind of want the other cards to move along a little bit. So, damn, I'm trying to work this out. Like, if I say select this one here, this card here should sort of shuffle over to the right, and this one should shuffle over to the left. You know what? Before we do that, I am going to try and work out a good algorithm to do the rotation sort of feel, so it sort of fans out. And I also do, you know what, I do want these ones to be, yeah, so we're going to try and sort of fan out the cards. Right, how are we going to do that? So the ones furthest on the right are going to fan, yeah. So this will, this should be okay. So if we have the hand, we're going to, and it's the Z rotation on the U angles that we're looking to change. So if I have private void get get rotation vex, or get rotation Z, and we're going to get an array of floats. Okay. So if we have one, we want it to be upright. If we have two, we can have it sort of 10 degrees either way. 3, yeah. So we're going to equals float rotation. So yeah, we're going to have an array of floats here. Equals new float. Here, sorry, just to give you a plan. It's like this is one of those times where I'm putting code together and I'm kind of making it up on the fly and sort of seeing what makes sense. So the number of rotation Zs that we're going to get is equal to the number of cards in hand. So cards in hand equals cards in hand dot count. Okay. So I think 10 feels like a good one to go by. So if we have I'll get rid of that. Okay, so it's right. I'm going to put the how I feel the maths is going to work. Start Z equals, and I believe it's minus 2 point naught f times by rotation Z's minus 1. Oh. It's minus 20. Like I say, this is going to be I'm going to put this together and then sort of make some changes because this does look a little weird at the moment. Equals start Z plus $20 times by I. Actually. Okay. Here's where it just gets a little bit complicated, but I think that's okay. And then return. If this does work, then I'll go into great length and explain why it's working. Actually, no, I'll explain what I'm sort of going for. So, the idea is when you want to fan the cards out, it's all dependent on to give it that sort of fanned look. So, like the ones on the left are sort of curved over like that, and then so they sort of go around like that. You have to. It's all about to do with the Z rotation of what's on the card, and I'm basically getting an array of numbers that essentially just go. So it'll be at say -40° angle, then -20, then 0, then 20, then 40. If you have like 5 cards, it's what I'm going for. I can't quite work out if this is going to happen, but let's go add card routine. Card script dot. So when we're adding the cards, we've already added them there, which is really useful. So we're going to have just after busy, we're going to have float Z rotations equals get rotation Z. Okay. Now, what we also want to do is have a where we've got a return vec. We also want what's called it's going to be pretty much the same as this, but we're going to have a public vector 3 we don't even necessarily need it to do that. So actually we have a public we'll have a public vector 3. We're going to have return Euler vec, and this one really, it should be private. I think that should be fine. Let's just set these to private. Public sorry, all of this needs to go underneath. There we go. Right. Public vector 3 get return Euler vec, public void set return Euler vec. Probably shouldn't be having a space over there. Public get return so yeah, this is going to, so what we're doing here, we're just making sure that we can set the, like, we've got the return local vec, so when we select a card and then unselect it, it moves back to its place, but we're now setting the return EULA. So not only will it move back to the place, but it will rotate correctly in the correct manner. I hope. Let's see. Let's see how it all unwinds. Okay, right. This was a little bit arduous, but I'm just getting this EULA VEC ready and getting it all kitted so we can use it. So I think every time we're setting the what does that do? Oh, yeah, that's fine. What's the point of this script? Sorry. Getting sidetracked. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Sorry, that's fine. Sorry. What this does, it's just saying, setting the card so that it's in your hand. That's fine. Okay. Every time we're setting the return VEC, we're also going to set the EULA VEC. Set return EULA VEC. It's going to be new vector 3. And this will be Z rotations, I believe 0. Oh yes, actually this is kind of useful. This is the first dry run of how it all goes. So we're actually going to have yeah, vector 3 return EULA VEC equals all that. Return EULA VEC, brilliant. So not only are we going to move it to place, but we're also going to rotate it to place. So mover.instance. Rotate to point. There we go. Card script dot get trans. So what I'm doing now is I'm just essentially setting the movement in place so that it actually rotates to the angle. When we actually have it all up and running, we'll be able to see if we've got the angles too much, too good, too bad, somewhere in the middle. We'll be able to have a good look at it to see if it is working. Return EULA VEC. Speed. And that's all we need to do. Oh yeah, of course. We were going to... Oh yes, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So the first card, when it draws, I'm happy for it to bounce, but any others, I don't want it to bounce. Okay. So that's the card coming in. Return EULA VEC. Okay, so now we've got to do the same, but over here. So I've just got to have a look at this code, try and work out what's different. Just so I think I will need to change this, but it will be easier to work out once I've actually got it up and running. Oh, actually, it's exactly that. Okay. So this will only affect the drawing part, but this is what we want to have a look at. Let's give that a shot. Right, what's happening? Yeah, it might not be I+1. I have a feeling it might be... It might not be that, but let's have a look. No, it is. It is. That's wrong. It's wrong. Sorry. I've actually just... It's clicked in my head. It's not this. It's... It's Z rotations dot length -1 minus I. Okay, I think that's right. Let's give that a try. I feel like it's, yeah, like, because I think the rotations would be off. So let's see if it works now. Or has something sort of vaguely represented. Okay. That's what we're going for, right? So, I mean, that's actually closer than I thought it would be. Obviously, I've got the rotations. The rotation's slightly wrong there. We've got to work out why. Why these ones are slightly off. Okay. So, I mean, it was worth a try. Like, you can't blame a guy for trying. Let me just have another look at that. Let's just have actually a look at what the rotations are. So for some reason, let me just... Okay. Yeah, the thing that confuses me is I don't know why two cards are both having 0 rotation. So if I somehow manage to play this, right? Obviously, I can make it so that it sort of fixes the Euler, but I just want to get these Euler vessels right. So it adds one, then the next one adds on. Let's go. Oh! Yes. Actually, we're a lot closer than I thought. Okay, yes. Alright, I think we're on track. So this has to be minus 10. Yeah, okay. There's more. I think by having that as minus 10... yes. Okay. So, return Z rotations. That is still 0. Let's just get rid of that and then just have I plus 1. Okay. Let's see how this pans out. Okay, it's better. As far as this, like, going on top of there, I'm not too worried about that. Because what I want to do as well is, when I'm shuffling the cards over, I want all of these to sort of move over as well. And I can't quite work out why that's not happening. Okay. Right, hand script. Okay, add card. So, it's, yeah, I don't know if I've got these ones, this just number wrong. So let's just, I'm just going to do it. So if there was, let's just say we had one card, then the starting rotation would be 0, and yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna actually, yeah, like, we're gonna play this through. So one card means the Z rotations are gonna be whatever the start Z, which is 0. Length minus 1 would be 0, and it'd be 0. So 0 deg. If there's 2 cards, it should be 2 cards. It would start at minus 10, and we would have minus 10 and 10. I'm going to do one more just to check that, like, I haven't, it's not me going crazy. So, okay, so 3 cards, because once we've done these, like, yeah, it's more like, it's better to actually literally write it down on paper. So, oh! Hang on. No. Yes, that would be minus 20. And we would have minus 20, 0, and 20. Yeah, so these are all the numbers that we want to see. Yeah, okay, I know where the problem lies. Yeah, okay, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I've worked out it's here. That doesn't need to be card script. Yeah, that's where we've got... Okay, everything's fine. We're sorted now. This is actually cards in hand. Yeah, okay. This should look a bit better. And we might need to change this back to this, but let's find out. Let's find out if that's relevant. Okay, right. So, rotate to point. So we've got this return back. We haven't actually set the return Ulevec yet, which we can do that now. Right, so this will still might look wrong, but I realise what I'm basically doing is every time I'm creating a card, I'm only affecting the rotation. I'm only affecting the rotation of the far left card. So hopefully, right. Hopefully this will just look. This will look beautiful. I don't think it will. I think the rotations will be slightly off. Let's see. Oh. Huh. So unless I'm mistaken, it's only actually... Huh. Let me have a look. So that was slightly different to what I thought. I'm just going to have another look, because by the looks of things, a lot of the cards actually moved into the place that they were supposed to move. Okay. So I'm going to do the classic pause and then go forward one frame each time. To actually sort of properly analyse the Euler angle. Okay. So that is perfectly upright, and that's the way it should be. That's good. Okay. This one here. The Z, in theory, it should be edging towards... What one have we got selected? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I see what I've done. This is... Okay, right, I'll try and explain. Hey, how you doing, man? Oh, wow. Oh, nice, that almost looks like a Hearthstone keg. Yeah, so I'm working on getting the rotation of the cards as they come out. And I've run into... I think I know where the problem lies. I just kind of assumed that... so it's basically we want to look at the whole card. We want it to sort of fan out and then move around. I think I've just kind of... I've got a couple of numbers slightly wrong. So I'm going to do a bit of a few radical changes. See how it's all rocking. So we'll put that one back, and first of all let's just see what that does. So this should look completely wrong, but in a slightly more organised fashion. So they might sort of all angle together. Let's find out. Yes! Oh, yes! Sorry, that worked wrong. That was exactly how I wanted it to go. That's exactly... Yeah, I was thinking they're going to angle like that. Okay, so now we just need to set all of this to the opposite. So that should be that, and that should be that. Okay. Right, come on. So let's have a look. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now we can see that like part of this is overlapping. One is overlapping the other, which is quite easily sorted. Because we just want to make the ones that are on the right just slightly in front of everyone. And is 10 degrees too much? We can just lower it to 5, and that's not too difficult. Because I think that looks a bit too turny. So why don't we lower it to, like, say, 5 degrees, or less than that. So that's -5, and that one down to 10. And we're going to get another card here, which will be where we've got the return vec. We're going to have public. Actually, no, we'll have it as private int order in layer int. Okay. Public void set order in layer int. All right. Layer. This will make sense in a sec. Okay. Right, so what are we doing over here? We are setting this particular new integer, meaning that we are going to have Okay. So, yeah, basically I'm dealing with the problem of when you have a new card. So this is going to be +1. So that, because, yeah, the problem with having the cards slightly fanned out is it means that they can kind of like, the order in layer can be sort of problematic. So we're going to have like one card on top of another, so it clearly feels like, it clearly feels that you are actually sort of fanning the cards out in the correct sort of manner. So we just need to set this all here. So hand script. And yeah, it should be okay. Right. So there we go. Yeah, so it's just here really. I think 5, and over here where we're setting it, we're going to have uh, 5 plus it's not quite that, but it's close. I think it's so what? Yeah, so we're making sure that the one furthest on the right is going to be in front of the screen, and the one, yeah. So let's give that a try. Yeah. And so, yeah, we'll see if it works. Because I think a lot of trial and error. Yeah, so ideally, the further it is on the right, the more priority it has. So it should be in front. So, oh, is it literally the exact opposite? And am I okay with that? Oh, I think it's literally the exact opposite of what I wanted. But I mean, I just. Yeah, let's see. Order in layer. Oh, because we haven't actually set it at any point. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So when we're actually setting the order in layer, we're also going to put it in the intended order. Let's have a look. So let's just check. Oh yeah, you know what? That does look right. Okay, and now the more I look at this as well, it looks like because we've actually angled it, we can probably squeeze the cards in slightly as well. So there doesn't necessarily have to be whatever it is. I think it's 1 unit apart from each other. No, 2 units apart. So we can actually, we don't need to. So next thing that we're trying to do, that's brilliant. I'm really happy with that. That's how I wanted it to look. Like I say, I think we can squeeze the cards in a bit so that they're not like 2 units apart, because there feels like there's just a few gaps. But that's okay. I'm not in a rush to do that. So when we actually highlight it, it's still at an angle. What we want to do is highlight it so that it goes back to the original upright angle, and then when we let it go, it clicks back. Should be easily done. Okay. Card script. We've got move card back. So as well as going back to the local scale and the local position, we're going to have card trans dot Euler angles equal return Euler vec. And when we're going to move that card in the front, local position. Oh, I see. This code is relevant here, but it doesn't matter over here. This was just, the reason, earlier I was trying to work out why I put all this rubbishy code here when I should have just done this. And it was because I was copying and pasting. Yeah, it's because I was copying and pasting. It turns out all of this is complete rubbish. This doesn't do anything. This doesn't do anything useful. But it was because I made this one first and then I made this one afterwards. But this is relevant. So this is basically saying we're going to put you at the front, in the front line, and we're going to set your Y value. Oh yeah, set the Y value to 1.25 and then set the scale to that. So we're also going to card trans dot Euler angles equals vector 3.0. All right. So hopefully now let's have a little look. So we've got all the cards, that's looking good. Now, ideally we highlight over, it'll go at the front and then it'll click back to where it was. Okay, I like that. Now, the next up, what if, instead of it being 2 units, let's just say we tried with, so at the moment, like I say, these cards on the X scale, on the X axis, they're 2 units apart when they're small. And we can just sort of dabble with the idea of making it just squeeze together just slightly more. And I don't know if that'll look better or worse, but let's have a little fun. Let's see what looks better. So this will be on the hand script. Local position. So this will be 0.75 and this will be 1.5. Okay, let's go. So this is just squeezing the cards together, see if it looks any better. It might backfire and might be just like, no, that looks rubbish, terrible idea, but or it might squeeze it together too much. That's what I was going for. I always want the card on the left to be like separated from the rest of the group. If I was to end turn, oh yeah, and at the moment, yeah, it's fine. Wonder why. Let me just have another little play, try and work out. I feel like it could look cooler if the centre card was slightly higher. Yes, yes, you are completely right. I completely agree with you there. Yeah, so kind of like in that, it's sort of like it curves around. That's actually, I do agree, and I'm thinking of the coding to do that, and I think it's quite achievable, because it's basically as close as it is to the centre, the higher up it is. Yeah, and believe it or not, that's what Slay the Spire does as well. You can see the centre card is just higher up. Right, why is this separated? Why is this away from the pack? What have I done wrong? If that was... No. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I know what the problem is. It's this. Right. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'll actually work on that next. Because yeah, that's what's been. I want the centre card, so it does feel slightly more fanned out. Let's have a look at where we're up to now. Let's just see if we fix the problem. It's close. I think we can now. I think there's just a minus where there should be a plus. So if that was minus, or no. Plus 1.5. It's a bit too... Oh, plus 0.75. Okay. Because the implication is I just get rid of all of this code here. Oh, sorry, my chair's a little bit squeaky. I do apologise if that's coming up on the mic. Let's see if this works. Oh no. So... Oh! Okay. This, I think... This has to be plus 1.5. Let's give that one last try. Okay, come on. This is going to be the one. Oh. Right. Okay, so we end turn. Oh, I think that looks okay. I'm kind of fine with that. Oh yeah, so one thing before I actually sort out, because I want to actually get the height of the thing sorted, which shouldn't be too difficult. However, before I do that, at the moment, when you actually play the card, it hasn't compensated for... So if I play this, none of the rotation is actually compensating. Like, I need to actually put all that complicated code into when we're removing a card as well. So let's do that. Remove card. And I'm not going to... Oh, actually, it should be easier. So let's have a look. So we're removing it there. So we definitely want... I'm going to do the classic look at bits which I can steal. So we want that. And we want to do it after we've removed the card. And I think a lot of this we can just copy and paste, to be honest. So that'll give me an error message, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm copying it one by one, just checking I'm not tripping over myself here. Oh, I see, yeah. So that can be 1.5F. And I have a... Yeah. Ah, okay. Sorry, just looking. I think this... There's a 1 there and it might need to be 0.75, but... in fact, it does, doesn't it? We'll come back to that, don't worry. Yeah, I think that needs to be a 1.75. So we're just copying and pasting bits from... Oh. Okay. Sorry, this is just fixing a bit of code from earlier. Right. Okay, so I'm going to do this first, see what this looks like, and then, yeah, because I still think we're going to be running against problems here. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, of course, when it's actually returning back to its spot, it's not rotating. So in an ideal world, if I play this far right one, this one will suddenly rotate like back to like the center, so it will just be perfectly upright. So let's keep an eye on that. Yes, yes, it did. Oh, okay. Yes, fantastic, brilliant. Right, stop being so surprised when things work. Sorry, talking to myself there. So if I was to play, we don't have. Oh yeah, we do. If I was to play this, ideally they'd be sort of curved apart. Brilliant. Okay, end turn. So another big thing, because earlier when I was saying, even though it probably won't look that much different, I believe that should be minus 0.75. And this should be the original 0.75. And if that works, then I'll change it on the other one as well. In fact, where did I actually make that change? It's in the add card routine. So hopefully this will look, the cards will look a bit more central. We're running into a similar problem. Let's have a look. So they're all 1.5 apart, but this one is more. And I actually think the problem is that all of these, it's not actually, the one on the far left is exactly where it should be, but it's these ones here need to move further left. And I think it might be, try this. Yeah, so it's because I think it's 2.0, but I want to work out the logical reason as to why that is the case, because I think this will work just purely because I've just been sort of crunching the numbers and that makes sense. I think if it's 1 point, actually, oh no, it might be 1.5. Let's have a look. Damn. So yeah, so the issue that we got is when we're setting the Y value, it's -2 there. Oh, actually, that's another thing that we need to check. Because what I want as well is I want the central card to be not only upright, which it should be, it's upright there. I kind of want the Y value to be right in the centre. So let's actually just test to see if that is. Oh no, sorry, the X value. And it is, yes, it is 0. Okay, so that looks good. Okay. Right, so something that Mr. Glisson was mentioning earlier is we kind of want to have the card, as the closer it is to the centre, to be edged up a little bit. Now, this is one of those where kind of like I haven't actually thought of a good clear-cut strategy, but generally what we need to do is we need to get some sort of number that gets bigger the closer it is to the central number. So in this case there's 5 cards, and in the middle is well, 3. These number 3 or 2, I can't remember. Yeah, is in the centre. So the closer it is to like the halfway point, the higher up this goes. And let's have a little play around and work out what kind of makes sense. So if this was up, say, oh no, not that bit there. This bit here, so was up, say, plus 0.5. Is that the key number? So what if this one here was up by, say, 2.5? What about 0.4? And this one here, minus, because yeah, if I was really going technical, I could actually work out some sort of clever algorithm that makes it essentially work under the assumption that there's like this huge circle, and we're kind of going off that. I don't think I need to make it that complicated. I just think, say, it goes up 0.1 the closer it is to the centre. Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, cheers. It does actually, yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, you are right. I think the reason that it would be slightly problematic is if you have too many cards. In fact, let's just say 10 is the highest amount of cards that you can have. So if that was the case, let's have a little look. This one here would be the Z rotation would be about 50, I think, and the height would be, I think, something like -2. I guess you can still access it there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, give that a shot. Right. So how are we going to do that? So it's actually, we don't have to create too much more code. This is the 1.5. So we have just got to get all the correct numbers. So let's go get, we're going to have a private float get. Oh, damn. Okay, now what I would normally do, a younger version of me would just decide to come up with a completely random name, which doesn't mean anything, right, to determine this. But, like, the sensible part of me is thinking, no, we're going to rely on this later. We need to give it a sensible name. So I'm going to call it get y offset vex. Crazy. No. Crazy. No, okay, we're not going to call it crazy. We're just going to call it a sensible thing. That's fine. Okay. So. Oh, no. Get floats, sorry. In fact, yeah, you get y offsets is fine. Y float. So we're going to create an array of y offsets. Equals new float. Cards in hand dot count. Oh. Let me just try and do the. Okay, yeah, this will. Yeah, this looks like a sort of fun little exercise. So, so ideally, if. Yeah. So, if y offsets dot length. Now we're going to use modulus, and I'll explain why. Modulus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, what does all this mean? So, I am going to set all of the. I want to have the highest one to go up 0.5, the one that's right in the centre to go up 0.5. But if you've got two cards, there's no one in the centre. So maybe those just go up by 0.4. So, and so int So what we need to do is we need to determine how high each one is going to go Let's just check that one out. Yeah, I want to determine the height of each sort of card, dependent on where it is along. So it's just because if you have 5, you can't just divide it by 2. Anyway, I'll put all the code together and explain it afterwards. I think that'll probably make more sense. Right. There we go. So basically, first count divide equals so where are we? Yeah, so we're going to do 2 for loops. One for the first count building up, and the other one for the second count building down or going down. Right. Y offsets dot. So, in fact, right. First count. Okay, this does look a bit complicated, and I reckon this is probably more complicated than it needs. But I'm going to put it together. So basically, we're getting. Let's just say there's 5 cards. The first count will be 3, and the second count will be 2. So we're going to do a. We're going to do a for loop for the first 3 building up, and then the next 2 going down. So I am sure I've made this more complicated than I need to, but so we also need to have a float starting y equals 0.5 f minus y offsets dot length times by 0. Okay, I think this is right. That might have to be 0.1, but let's have a little look. Right. Y offsets. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is. I think this is right. Y offsets equals starting Y plus this is all good. Sorry, there's just quite a lot that I need to sort of process at the time. So starting Y plus 0.1f times by I okay, and so I think that's okay. That sets the first half, and then for int I equals 0, I less than second count, I plus plus. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if all of this works. Okay, and then see, like, yeah, see if this works, and then I'll try and explain what I'm doing. Because obviously the worst thing is if I explain everything. Actually, no, yeah, it is better if I explain it now. So I'm not super happy with this code, but I'll explain roughly what's doing that. So we want the central card to be propelled slightly higher than the other cards, and then to sort of fade down like you're holding a card. So not only have we've already got the angle sorted, we also want to make like the middle card to sort of be higher, and then for it to go round. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a bunch of Y offsets. So that's basically saying what we're going to move, how much. Like, well, we're gonna like move the Y of the card when it sort of returns. So I'm going to get a bunch of this. Now, unlike with any other things, because we want the number to be higher when it's in the center, we're like, my method is to, if we like, let's just say we want 5 of these numbers. The center one we know is going to be minus 0.5 or plus 0.5, and we want each one, the ones either side, to be plus 0.4, and the ones either side of that to be plus 0.3. And what I am that needs to be minus. Yeah. So I think, so basically, because I've got to do a separate bit of code for the left side and the right side, I have got the first count and the second count available. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to just see if this works. This shouldn't. Yeah, I'll have a look at what this is. So where we've got, yeah, because this won't work, but like it will kind of like help us sort of narrow things down a bit. So. Get Y offsets. Sure. Yeah, I'm Harris. Actually, I'm worried. I don't want to just suddenly be like, yes, I'm Harris Heller, and I have no idea who Harris Heller is. How are you doing, there, man? It's good to it's good to see you. Oh, you are right. Yeah. It is. Now, I know you're probably thinking, yeah. So, I mean, how do you know? Like, I mean, I didn't know that you're a fan of Harris Heller. That's cool. I mean, basically, there's I've got something which basically just gives me sort of music that I can sort of stream for free, and it's called Synthwaves. So it's quite sort of relaxed, sort of mellowish music that you can just sort of chill and not have to think too much about. Right. Anyway, we were. It's not so kind of like I go to sleep and I'm like, right, let's go bang some Harris Heller. But yeah, no, that's cool. Right. Oh yeah, I haven't actually. All I've done is just get the values and not actually do anything with them. Okay. Oh. Actually, now I think about this, what we can do is we can actually get all the numbers. So str plus equals offsets yeah, sorry, I'm putting this bit of code in so we can actually see if this quite hefty, chunky bit of code is doing the thing that we want it to do. So if I just get a string and we're just going to add all the numbers together, we also probably better add a space so it doesn't get too confusing. Add a couple of spaces, that's fine. Right, so now we'll actually have a look at the Y offsets, but let's see if we can fit it in as well. Actually, no. Let's just check we got the numbers correct. So we've got we're going to just have a bit of a debug check. So what I'm hoping to see is minus no, sorry, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.3, 0.4. Okay, it should be a number that goes ascends and then descends. But it goes up and down. Right. Let's have a look. That was not even slightly what I was hoping for. Just have another look. Try and work out exactly. That was so many leagues off of what I was hoping to happen. Okay, right. Let's just. I think it might just be strings aren't happy. Yeah, let's just go make things a little bit kind of okay. String equals that. Yeah, it's gonna look. It's not quite what I want it to look like, but that's fine. I want to do one more thing as well. So we'll actually stop that. So yeah, what we're looking to do, we're just checking that the numbers go up in and down in the correct order. And I've got the word break there because I was hoping to get everything on one string, but I can't seem to do that. So instead, I'm just going to print them all off. So we're going to have a big bunch of of these messages that come over. But we'll have a break, so it'll make sense. Right, so we're drawing all the cards. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. Alright, we know we got wrong. Okay, fair enough. Alright. Alright, it was me doing it wrong in the first place. I've just done SCR length. I don't know why. That's fine. Okay. It's fine. We can still stick with this. I tell you, it's happened now. I'm worried now because I'm like, oh, I'm blaming it on the Unity. I'm just like, oh no, this was clearly my fault. So I put the wrong parameter in the for thing, in the for loop. So hopefully, let's have a look, see what we're at. Okay. So, ooh. Okay. The short answer is these are not the numbers that we're after. Yeah, that needs to... I need to fix that. Yeah, I think basically I wasn't a fan of this code. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go get myself a coffee and have a chill just for the next few minutes. And then I'm going to have another look at this problem because, yeah, what we're essentially trying to do is get the numbers to go up. And I think I've done a very complicated bit of code where it really doesn't need to be this much. So I'm looking forward to just getting back to it. And I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'll leave the music on and we got a break. Yes. Right. Fantastic. Right. I'll be back in a few minutes. Ah, okay, right, we're back again. Yeah, sorry, I've decided this is rubbish. This is rubbish. I've tried to make something a lot more complicated than it really needs to be. So, like, I can actually, I can get rid of this. Like, because my first attempt was, it's not that, it can't be that difficult. All I've got to do is just go, switch y offsets dot length, case 0, return null. And what I'm going to do is, I think once I've actually got this out, case 2, so because we've got to actually just work out what the height of each one that is. And I think actually when you actually physically write it out, physically draw it out, it makes it a lot clearer. So So this is just basically, like, this is just using the sort of basic mathematics. There we go. So that'll be minus 3, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. So what am I actually doing here? I'm just trying to work out the exact numbers that I want it to be. And then once I've actually physically looked at it... I could try and use the argument, no, this is some really intricate, scary code that I'm doing here. Oh yeah, cheers, Glisten. For the time being, for what we're trying to do, we don't actually need to go any higher than. There we go. We don't need to go any higher than 6, so I'm going to make it up to 6 as well. So that's 0.3, 0.4, 5. And I think actually, yeah, because I'm not like 100% sure. So let's just tidy all this up a bit. And what I'm going to do is I will actually. So what I've done here is I've just got the Y values that I want it to be. So this shouldn't be too difficult. We just need to, on the hand script, we have to go. We're just going to sort it for the drawing y offsets equals all of that. That's fine. Return vec equals all of that plus that. And then it's 1.5 plus y offsets 0. And over here, we're going to have plus y offsets. It would be really nice if it was just I plus 1, but it's not. It's y offsets dot length minus 1. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right, let's give this a try. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, if ever at any point we're drawing more than 7 cards, it'll create an error message. And I'm aware of that. Yeah, the problem is when I was... Yeah, like... So, anyway, right, so stop. Right, play. Okay, let's have a look. Feels like it hasn't done anything. Right, let's have a look. Yep. I know the problem. I've done there. I haven't introduced I at any point. Minus I. Okay. Yeah, let me see if this works, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. Yeah, it's a... I know there's a bit of time. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Right, I mean, you might not notice the difference. But let me actually... Let's have a little play around. So that's... Yeah, that has actually worked how I intended. So, because here's where, like, kind of... here's where, like, I could simply just go with each up to 10. I could just experiment with the how high it should look and do an opinion-based thing on each one. For the time being, I'm not going to bother. I'm just quite happy with how that looks. So, so now we've got to actually deal with that for the removing cards as well. There we are. So when we're adding cards, we're doing stuff. When we're removing cards, we're doing stuff. And it's just this cheeky bit of code here. Oh. Of course, yeah. Right, let's just give that a little tester. So we play a card, and it looks like it does deal with the height. So this should ideally, the height of this one when it's not on should be, I think, 1.9. No, minus 1.5. Yes, yeah, minus 1.05. Yeah, so it is compensating. So the height is compensating as we play more cards. So now this one here, this central one. Oh, why did I have to play that card? Alright, so we do this. So this one here should be minus 1. So let's just have a look. Yeah, minus 1. Okay, brilliant. Right. Okay, so let me have a think. So Oh right, well, we've still got a bunch of debugging stuff. Oh right, actually that brings us quite nicely on to the next step. Right, so now let's go back into the game. We've made actually some good progress. I'm quite happy with what we've got. We've made the deck. We've made the whole layout just generally just look quite a bit nicer. So there's a like. You know when you're watching a TV show, right, and it leaves it on a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh, wow, what was that all about? And then it gets to the next episode, and it doesn't address the cliffhanger whatsoever, and you're like, what? No, tell me this is why I'm watching this episode, right? So I had a bit of trouble. I mean, the cliffhanger was, I couldn't seem to get, like, various different coroutines to stack, so it goes one after another. What I am looking to do is essentially make it so when you play, say, this and this and this, right? It sort of does one task after another, but it's still, at the moment, there's a bit of flashing there. There's still stuff going wrong, and I came up with an idea for how to have to be able to stack one task after another. And I tell you what, it's just more as I'm looking at the time. What I think I'm going to save that adventure for next time. I know, but it's like, what? No. But like, this is why we're watching this episode. We were so gripped by like the problem and how did you overcome it. Now I've come up with a good way of overcoming it. So, but I think it's. I realise as I'm sort of talking, I'm thinking this is going to take us quite a little while. So I'll give you the rough problem, and then I'll see once I've sort of analysed it, see how I feel, see if I can actually fix it. So we've got card action script. So. When you actually are doing a card action, right? So there might be multiple card actions all in one go, and you do one, and it's going to be incredibly problematic if all of the card actions. So if you play two cards like really in close sort of succession, it's going to kind of like there's a good chance things are going to overlap and break slightly. So I am thinking that my overall plan, so what I did, I had this whole session of number of cards in queue, number of bills, whatever. All we need to do is have actually this might be so easy. No, don't get dragged in. No, we're going to go for it because like I actually think the code that I need to put is so easy that it should literally only take me 5 minutes. So you know what, I'm going to spend 5 minutes, see if I actually fix it straight off the bat, and then if I do, then I'm going to call it there. If I'm realising it's going to take longer, I will probably call it there. But like, let's see if we can do this last thing, because I think I've got an easy way of doing it. So it's going to start off, we're going to have a private list of card classes, and we're going to call it queued list of card actions, cards to activate. Okay, right, and when we're actually setting everything up, we may as well set this up as well. Have queued list of cards. That equals a new list. All right. So we're basically saying this is the whole thing. Now, I've got all of this stuff here, which I don't think we need. All right. Busy. Like, yeah, we've probably got more booleans than we need, but I'm going to create another one. Cards being activated. Okay. So the idea is we perform the card action, right? It does all of this stuff, whatever is going on here, right? We don't really need this anymore. We don't need any of this. So let's just get rid of all that. So we're going to have card being activated. Yeah, cards being activated equals true. And where it has busy, we're going to have that equals false. We might have one boolean too many, but I'd rather keep it all cards being activated equals false. That's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do next is here's where it gets a bit clever, right? So all of this, again, this might be really, really good, useful stuff, but we are going to have if cards being activated in fact, if cards are not being activated, we're going to simply start the coroutine here. Alright, we're going to start it like normal. However, if there's already a card that's being done, that things are happening with, we're going to have queued list of cards to be activated. Queued list of cards dot add our current card class. Okay, so we're going to add it to our queued list. And we're going to do more stuff to it. So here's where, like, this is the code. This is the key bit. So if queued list of cards to activate dot count is greater than 0, we are going to essentially, let me just get this. In fact, I actually copied and pasted it already. Don't think we need any of this. So, don't need any of that, and any of that, and we can get rid of that. Get rid of that. And I think this can go back to being a void. Yeah, I did. I properly went. Yeah, I think. Let me just get rid of all that. Right, I said 5 minutes. I mean, we're getting close to actually, like, because I think there's very little more that we need to do. Okay. Right. And then else do all of this. So it's going to do whatever the action of the card is, right? Which is all of this work here, which is sorting. And then once it's done that, it's going to see if there's any cards that are added to the queue. Now, they get added to the queue when you're trying to perform one card action, but the cards are already being activated. So if the cards are already being activated, we just add it to the queue, right? So then it will wait till it's the first version is done, and then it's going to see if the queue is still above 0. So if there is anything in the queue, it will then start doing the card action of whatever is in the queue, and then we are then removing it from the queue. So next time, if we've got if we've done one and there's one in the queue, it will do that, and then when it finds out that there's none left in the queue, it's then just going to go to being false. So if this does work, then we can. Oh, that's all right. Let's have a look. Where are we? We don't need any of this. Yeah, we can just get rid of all that. That's all rubbish. Yeah, I mean, if this does work, then like we can get rid of so much rubbish. Because last time I had an idea as to how to get something to work, but then it was actually just as I woke up this morning, I just came up with a much simpler answer. So, right, this is actually a little bit annoying, but we want to try and see if we can stack multiple things together. So 7 attackers, 5 defenders. That's more or less what it was, as good as it was last time. However, what I want to do this time is, and this is perfect, it enables me to, so I'm actually going to go this one, then this one, then this one, as quickly as I can. And again, I'm trying to create a bug, and hopefully I've done the code rigid enough that it doesn't come across as a problem. So 1, 2, and 3. You know what? That is pretty good. Now, for whatever reason, and I've had this problem before, and I had it last time, this one here is getting the wrong message. When it's turning into becoming armoured, it's as if there's something which hasn't told it to stop animating the original non-armoured version, and I need to work out why that is the case. So that will be in the attacking thing somewhere. No, we'll do that while it's fresh in my mind. Okay, let's go for it. Right, resources. Because I feel this is something that I could quite easily just kind of forget about, but I'd rather... Because, yeah, like I say, I think there's just a little bit of code that I could fit in. So, converting armoured attackers routine. So I think it's around here. And we're going to just see if there's anything that's been... where do we actually cancel the animation? Or have we cancelled the animation? So it'll probably be here. So we have cancelled the animation there. So it looks like we have actually done the thing. So yeah, like I say, the problem that we've got is when we've got an idle... when when we've got a non-armoured unit that we're looking to upgrade to an armoured unit, what I want to do is... so it should be idle in the non-armoured form. I then want it to move. It wants it to upgrade its armour and then move to the armoured line. Now what it's doing, it's upgrading the armour, but it's for some reason not getting the message to actually cancel its animation. Let's just see. Let's see what's actually going on here. So how many times are we using Aaron? So get move sprites. So let's just have a quick look. So when we actually armour up, because yeah, I think this might be a slight flaw with my my coding. So yeah, don't worry about that. So first of all, I want to see if the problem occurs because we stacked it together. So I'm just going to play one. Now, the problem that we're having is, so I'm going to play this, and 4 of these beans move forward. And at the moment, yeah, and the problem which I had was this one here was kind of flashing. It was as if it hadn't been told to stop animating. Now, that might be because it only occurs when you actually try and stack one after another. But if that is the case, I think I know how to fix that. Oh, I feel like... okay. Right, this might be a good time to end it. Okay, I have created an infinite loop somewhere, and we haven't actually lost, because we've been saving code as we've gone through, we haven't actually lost an awful lot. So... I intended that. That was all part of my plan all along. You know, that's probably a good time to say to call it there. But what we're going to work on is, first of all, dealing with that particular little armoured problem, and yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so kind of like, and I want to make just everything just run a little bit smoother, and then maybe next episode we can. This isn't my game. Sorry. The error message got rid of. Like I've accidentally created an infinite loop somewhere and closed down Unity. This is Slay the Spire. But I was using this just as a reference. But yeah, so I think we're going to work next time on maybe creating a couple more cards. Kapow! Creating maybe a couple more cards, and like I kind of want to make it feel slightly more like a game, you know. And I haven't worked out if, like, with the enemies, they've obviously got a pre-set attack that they have to begin with. But like, I like the idea that maybe once they've actually arrived at the town, they do that attack, and then maybe the next attack is going to be something different, like either less attack or it will have an effect. It might do something. I haven't worked out exactly. But yeah, anyway, right, so that is where we're up to now. I am again done. I'm quite happy with what I've done. I'm going to try and work out, like, before the next episode what actually created that error message, and try and fix it. I have, yeah, like, I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but we'll come to that. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking about. This has been absolutely awesome. Yes, I've got the thing. Yeah, sorry, I was going to see if I could raid, but it still confuses me. So just pretend that I'm raiding. I was going to raid a guy called Redbeard. He might not actually be on, but it's either Redbeard or Shady Bunny. But just imagine, because they're both Hearthstone. They play Hearthstone, and they're really properly cool, just chill guys that you can just kind of like just have on in front of you and just chill out. Anyway, right, let's rock. All right, just imagine that I'm doing a raiding. Oh yeah, thanks, Kev. Yeah, cool, rock and roll. Yeah, I will do. Yeah, I'll let him know. Yeah, I'll let him know you said hi. All right, cool. Anyway, yeah, Kev and Gliss, this has been absolutely awesome. I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.